Welcome back to another deep dive with Derek. I'm your host, Derek. My friends call me D-Rock. Here with another reaction. Today I'm checking out Tool. If you want to jump right in to the good bits, the timestamps are in the description below. If you're new here, I'd like to personally welcome you to the channel. On this channel, Deep Dive with Derek, I take deep dives. That means a couple of things. One is I take a deep dive into music that I missed, that I should have checked out before, and somehow I never got into it, which is sad because often I rather enjoy this music, but I missed it. So I'm taking a deep dive into artists and songs that I should have been listening to for decades and haven't been. The other meaning of deep dive is I take a deep dive into meaningful songs, meaningful lyrics, meaningful videos, usually through the lens of life planning, life design, that kind of stuff. So meaningful living, valuable living, personal values, things like that. So if you're new here and this is something that you're interested in, consider subscribing, follow along. If you've been here before, welcome. Certainly glad you can make it. Hit the like button if this is something you like. It's a signal to me that this is worth doing. So if you're new here, I don't monetize these videos. I think that there's something majorly wrong with the attention and advertising model. So selling ads, especially now with algorithms and AI, it hijacks your attention and it causes things like divisiveness and consumerism and those kinds of things. I prefer to have a one-on-one relationship with my audience. So if you want to support the channel, you don't have to, but if you want to support the channel, you might find a thanks button down here. Think of that like a tip jar. That's not always there though. If it's not, you can buy me a beer. You can support me with micro donations. Those links will all be in the description. So Tool, what's up with Tool? I never got into Tool. The Tool that I know is Sober. You know, everybody knows that song. I kind of remember the video, if I remember correctly. I'm pretty sure I do. It was like a claymation kind of video, if I remember right. And it was dark. Dark meaning like it was low. It was on the bass side, the left side of the piano, if you were going to play it on the piano, we'll say. But that's all I know. I never got into it outside of that. And I enjoy improv music. So I enjoy jazz. I enjoy Dave Matthews Band. I've been getting into Fish and Grateful Dead. And somewhere along the line, somebody asked, hey, if you like all those bands, you must like Tool. And I said, I don't really know Tool. And they jaw hit the floor. Like, are you kidding? How could you not? So, and I'd love to hear your opinion if this is true. It was kind of explained as, I don't know if it's metal or hard rock's Grateful Dead. It was like a hard rock version of a jam band. And same person said, actually listen. Don't put it on in the background while you make dinner or something, because I'm going to try to get it right. She said, Tool is not music so much as it is an experience. You don't listen to Tool, you experience Tool. So that's my intro. That's why Tool popped back on my radar. And yeah, no excuses. I just missed them. So I'm gonna jump in. So I do know Sober. That's it. So today I'm checking out Schism. Schism. I think I'm saying that right. That's like a divide or a rift, like a wedge between two people. So I'm anticipating this being, well, I guess it could go anyway, but I'm anticipating this being about a complicated relationship, maybe. That's a guess. I don't know. We'll find out how it goes. So let's jump right in. Schism by Tool. Metronome? What is this? Is this from the, oh, I cut it right before a bass solo, it seems. It looks like I'm on the metronome or something now. Oops. Okay. Do you know? I'm imagining you do that bass line before the drumming came in because that kind of gave it a like a darker sound. But if you isolate just the bass, it reminds me a lot of Victor Wooten. If you know him, he does a lot of crazy things on the bass. So that's what where my mind went with that. It didn't surprise me that we got these little demon creatures, but it's still like, what is going on? So I heard something about communication. So I have the lyrics up here because that's going to help me out. The light that fueled our fire has burned a hole between us. We can't seem to reach an end, crippling our communication. So it does sound like that. First of all, that's kind of like that is a very clever, creative way to say that. So if I'm reading it right, though, there that's the schism, right? That's the something came between us, and we can't communicate anymore. And also, just in case you don't know, you might if you watch reaction videos. Pausing this helps with copyright strikes. So I'm gonna pause occasionally, give my 2 cents on the music, on the lyrics, on what I'm seeing, what I'm hearing, anything. If I go too long, it triggers algorithms that say I'm stealing their music or something. So that's the reason that we pause these things. So sounds to me like it's about something coming between them that's preventing them from communicating. My God! Before that starts, are they in a tomb of some kind? And what is? Oh, man, these are such creepy little characters. So that second verse though, I know the pieces fit because I watched them fall, which makes me think like I saw that it was put together, and so I saw it fall. So as we're piecing this back together, sometimes when you try to put something back together, there's extra parts. But I know they all fit because I seen this thing fall apart. and no one's to blame, he says. We blame each other. What we're trying to do is repiece this thing back, repiece this relationship back together so we can find a way to communicate again. So, first verse, communication breakdown. Second verse, we're trying to put this back together to figure out how to learn how to communicate again. I'm going to listen to this musical bit again. And the beauty and the dissonance. This is fascinating. I didn't realize it was going to be have communication as at the core. And then like challenging our instincts, our gut reactions. That sometimes that's called second guessing. So it seems to be like the relationship fell apart because we can't communicate. And it's helpful to think. This is interesting to think about. There's 4 aspects to actually communicating with each other, or listening, really, because I've got something that I think or that I mean. I've got, we have something like 50 or 70,000 thoughts every day, and most of those don't get articulated. So these unarticulated thoughts are bouncing around, and then you might ask me a question, or maybe you don't even ask me a question, but I try to articulate myself some way because I want to say this thing bothering me or something. And so I try to say something, but what I say might not be what I mean. Because remember, this might be the first time articulating it. And then once I say it, you got to hear it. That's what most people think listening is, that line. But at best, that's hearing. You're hearing my words. At worst, it's waiting, because you're just waiting for your turn to speak. So I talk, you have to hear the words. And most of us, if we're not present, we're thinking about what we're going to say next, or we're distracted by this, or we're whatever, lost in thought. You're not actually hearing what I'm saying. But even if you heard everything that I said, now you have to make an interpretation of what you think I meant. So now you got all this change, right? I say something, which may not mean, but it may not be what I mean. You got to hear it, which may not be what I said. And then you got to make an interpretation of what you think I meant. Now that's a lot of places for that to break down. And that's just the verbal communication, which makes up something like 7% of total communication, maybe 11. The rest is nonverbal communication, the body language, the facial expressions, and things like that. So it's easy. It's easy to have these communication breakdowns. So it doesn't surprise me that people, myself, probably you, have had situations like this where communication can break down, because once you make an interpretation of what you think I meant, it's probably wrong. So then you reply based on your misunderstanding of what I said. And then I reply to you based on my misunderstanding of what you said, which was based on a misunderstanding of what I said. And then it spirals out of control. And now there's a schism between us. And now the pieces fell apart. Now we've got to try to fix it. We got to try to put it back together. It's tough. Communication. It's like a pendulum with their heads. Is this a fetus or a baby? What in the hell is happening? Although that does remind me of the Tool guy. You know, from Tool, or not Tool, the Sober guy. Okay, such a pause here to just say that imagery, it's very, I don't know what it is, horror meets sci-fi or something. But I can't let that is a beautiful verse or pre-chorus, whatever you want to call it. Cold silence has a tendency to atrophy any sense of compassion. Think about that. Cold silence has a tendency to atrophy any sense of compassion. So compassion, often used in a woo-woo kind of way. Be more compassionate. It kind of sounds icky, but what compassion actually means is a desire for your well-being. There's kind of stages. There's sympathy, which is I feel sorry for you. Atrophy, that's what it says on the screen. Empathy is where I understand your point of view. I don't necessarily need to agree with it, but I can understand your point of view. I can understand why you'd feel that way, or I can understand why you'd think that way. So there's cognitive empathy and emotional empathy. But compassion is actually wanting your best interest, which is it. There's an interesting thought experiment that says if you've broke your ankle and somebody's going to work on your ankle, do you want them to empathize? As in, yeah, I know what it's like to have a broken ankle, or do you want them to have compassion? I want the best for you. So compassion is wanting the best for you. But atrophy is a lack of use. So silence, the lack of communication, right? The wall came tumbling down. So not talking anymore. Now it's silence. And when we're not talking, we lose any compassion. And then you're going to spiral. Because if I have no sense of compassion, I have no inkling that I want what's best for you, you're going to pick up on that. And then it's going to go this way. And then spiral we go. So amazing lyric, amazing part there. Oh, come on, what? So between supposed lovers, like we're supposed to be lovers, but our compassion muscle has atrophied because we didn't use it because we were silent. So that's where you see a paradox. Like we are lovers, or used to be, or should be, supposedly are, but now we lost all compassion for each other. I still can't figure what's going on with that little creature who stuck his hand out. Is that what got pulled out that looked like a worm and then it turned into this guy again? drumming is incredible, by the way. That was that might have been the most bizarre music video I've ever seen in my life. But I liked it. I loved the rhythm section. The combo of that bass and that drum. That was completely incredible. So there's this dark tone. Like that was really cool. And then layered on top of that, this song that, at least upon first listen, seems to be about, because he closed with, I know the pieces fit. I know this can work. Why isn't it working? It should work. So the frustration about a breakup is what it sounds like, or some, maybe not even a breakup, but frustration around a rift, a wedge, or a schism between two people. I'm excited to check it out again because I want to learn more about those creatures. What did those creatures have to do with it? But anyway, what do you think about the song? What do you like about the song? What else should I check out next? Because if you don't give me recommendations, I'm just gonna Google some songs that Tool has and use that. But I'm excited to use your recommendations. So let me know in the comments. I'll see you next time for my Tool journey.